So, at the time, my father was being housed at the MCC, so it was a lot of, stuff that was coming out that I was learning about my father's life. It was just a very intense time because now I can also see the intensity start to build up between my father and John's relationship. And again, not things that I was privy to, things that he could tell you, but things that I would see from my thing. Like we weren't allowed to be on visits without, John's family being present because John didn't want my father to have visits without him being able to be there to monitor the visits and just stuff like that that I can remember. And, my father was there for about almost a year. And then my uncle had come to me and he was like, your father, we want to have a meeting. And it was me, my mother, and my father, and we went up. And that's when my father told me he was going to cooperate. And it was like earth shattering. That day was like the worst day of my life. It felt like the whole world was just ripped out from underneath me. Everything I was ever taught to believe in, everything I ever believed in was just, and I remember it was like, why are you doing this? We've been fighting for so long. Like, I never heard of this. My father had no intentions. Like, he was making plans of how we were going to go on after, how we were going to live our lives. So this was like a side, like a curveball. And sorry, I'm not crying. I'm like, all of a sudden I'm choking. But anyway,
it was emotional.
That happened. And what?
It was emotional at the time, obviously.
No, it was definitely emotional, but all of a sudden I'm getting
I know. It's supposed
to be. But yeah, it was definitely emotional. So yeah, after that, I was like, I'm not going into the program. I want nothing to do with this. I didn't talk to my father for a long time. I was definitely rebellious. I acted out and did all kinds of things that I probably would have never done if this didn't happen. And it took us a long time to get to a point where we really, sat down and talked about it. And when we did, I wanted to know everything. I wanted to, like he owed me an explanation because now this world that he tried to keep us so sheltered from has now live in it. Now I have to get up every day. Face. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, you said you got to get up every day and face.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear you. Does it sound okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you go into the program? You and Gerard go into the program right away, or was there a delay for you to go into the program?
We never went into the program. Never. They just moved to Arizona. We never went into the program. Actually, my father did, but only for 6 months, and then he signed himself out because it was too many restrictions, and we refused to go in there. So obviously, with him being in the program, we weren't allowed to have any contact with him. So he didn't want that, and
So how was life? Give us your first year in Arizona.
My first year in Arizona, I found out I was pregnant within the first. Well, let me clear this up. So when my mother moved to Arizona because she found out there was a hit on my brother. They were actually plotting to kill Gerard and to, I guess stop my father from cooperating. And it wasn't John Gotti. It was someone else. It was after the Gotti trial, and that would have never worked. My father would just came back. One thing I will say about my father is